As you look at what President Biden said about this pardon, is there anything in his words or actions that creates precedent for future presidents here? Is he setting a new standard for how presidents issue pardons?
Well, the issue is it might have been accepted, um, in the public eye a little more. It might have been a little more palatable if he had not previously said that he would not do so. I think that was a huge mistake to state that he would not pardon his son, and then he did so. But as far as precedent, well, that gets a bit political because Democrats, are concerned with what Trump will do with the pardon power, and essentially, they've been taken down a bit off their soapbox by the argument that this was political by Biden, that this was a political act, this wasn't in the public interest. And so any future pardons by Trump or other presidents, I think this lowers the bar a little bit because it is a family member, which is not unusual. And many people can actually understand why a father would want to pardon his son. But it's so political in the present moment that it certainly might come back to bite at least the Democrat.
I was going to ask, is this a sign that presidential families are effectively immune from the law?
Well, uh, I don't think it should be that way, but it's hard to imagine, what president wouldn't want to pardon, at least if they have a decent relationship with their child, what president wouldn't want to? So it's a unique situation in that it exists, but if that were to have played in the past or in the future, I think we would see that kind of pardon in a event. In fact, when I was quite surprised when he was so bold about saying he wouldn't pardon his own son. You sort of think, well, look, you have this power to prevent your son from going to prison. It seems like he's really paid the price for not a violent crime. Something that again could have been handled a different way. That there was a plea agreement on the table. Was that plea agreement unfairly withdrawn or unfair to begin with? But as far as family members, mm, some might see it as a blanket, immunity for wrongdoing in the future, although one would hope that's not the case.
Is there anything else about this pardon or Hunter Biden's case as a whole that speaks to you or is especially interesting right now to you as a white collar criminal defense attorney?
Yeah, I think it's more about what will happen in the next administration and how this will be used or misused to pursue future pardon powers. We saw, Jack Smith withdraw several of his prosecutions in anticipation that Trump would have pardoned himself. I mean, that probably would have been more unique than anything in history we've seen a president pardoning himself. That likely would have happened. Um, but again, it only applies to federal charges nonetheless. But it's a lesson, I think, to future presidents not to speak too soon about what you may or may not do in the future, because otherwise, I think everyone would have anticipated a father would pardon his son. But now it's just been made so political, and it's really become perhaps more than it should have been.